Welcome back to the third episode of the Iconic Confessions Show, the show where we bring in a local icon each episode to learn more about their lives, careers, and experiences. Today on the show, we have Drea. She's a singer, a songwriter, you're an Australian Idol, and 2 of your songs have been nominated for the Song of the Year. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for coming onto the show today.
Thanks for having me. Yes, I am Drea and I am an artist, but also a singing teacher at the moment, and I have a few other things up my sleeve, but I'm not doing them at the moment. And yes, I just recently released a song called Drea, and you can check it out on Instagram and YouTube and SoundCloud.
Yeah. That is so cool. So what made you get your start into music?
The biggest thing for me was definitely my family. My dad loves music and he's a sound engineer. So he would always be playing music in the house, and my mum sings at church as well. So both of them would always be, doing something musical. We'd have worship practice or just listening and learning songs. So me, my sister and my brother, we all got involved that way.
Yeah.
It's kind of just always been around us, and it's just been a thing.
Yeah, and through that you've just been climbing ranks after ranks.
Slowly but surely, but we're getting there.
Yeah, you have, which then landed you in Australian Idol.
Yes.
Yeah, and you were in the top 12.
I was.
Yeah, which is an amazing achievement. So
thank you.
What was that like? Like the experience, is it as glamorous as it seems?
Yeah, so TV's weird. I mean, I've obviously been doing music for a very long time, since I was a kid, but TV music is very, very different. And I'm glad I got to experience that part of it. It's a lot of long hours and a lot of sitting around and waiting around, and but it was cool. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy it for what it was worth. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, through that, I'm sure that you learned a lot of different things. And if you had to give one piece of advice to someone maybe wanting to enter into the music industry or become a singer like yourself, what would that be?
Like I told my students in music camp this week, it's definitely networking and ask questions. So find someone who's doing what you would eventually like to do, or some aspect of what you'd like to do, and literally just send them a message. Or if you see them in person, I know it's hard and you get a little bit anxious wanting to ask questions, but literally just be like, hey, can I have a conversation with you over coffee about this part of your life that you're doing, or this part of your career? That's how I got my start. I did a lot of, I call them volunteering hours, but literally for me, it was just building up a bank of knowledge and gaining experience that I now use. Like I did a lot of gigs when I was younger, and I wouldn't get paid for them, but it wasn't like my gigs. I would go and undershadow like a band, and I watched them do their things, like how they interacted with the venue places, how they worked together as a band, how they would write music, how they would promote themselves. And I kind of just learnt those things along the way, and it's gotten me to here. Yeah. Asking questions and just being willing to learn is the best way to get your start in anything, but in music in general.
Yeah.
And be humble. Be ready to be humble very early. That's very important.
Yeah. No, that's great advice. And I know that you're an independent musician. So how come you chose to go down that pathway instead of joining a label or a record?
Record label? Honestly, the reason why I've done it that way is because I like to do everything myself. And as an older sister, we just don't know how to say no.
100%.
But for me, I've always wanted to know the ins and outs of things. That's how my brain works. I like to understand not just a simple concept, but the things around it. So I was like, if I want to be an artist, I want to know how to run this like an individual and independent business entity. So not only am I writing the songs, the only thing I haven't done myself is production, but I write my songs myself anyway, so I'll go through it, like, setting up a business, making sure I have my own ABN, setting it up financially, knowing what's going on behind the scenes, and then running my own social media and making sure that I write and create the songs, and working with the producers, and then working with instrumentalists when we take it to a live setting, and learning how to get a song from nothing to release, organizing photo shoots and video shoots and distribution and talking to different people. My big thing was like, I want to know how all of this works by myself, so that if the chance ever presents itself and someone approaches me, or I do feel like I need to find a label, I know what's going on behind the scenes, and I'm not just handing my life over to someone. Not that I don't trust people, but you have to be very careful. We've heard millions of stories of artists being undercut in their early days just because they don't know what they're doing. And so I just felt the need to understand what's going on from the ground up before I release that responsibility to somebody else.
Yeah. Do you think your experience in Australian Idol made you want to be more of an independent artist?
I think either way,
Yeah.
I probably would have been or will still be.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really weird transition period of my life right now, but I'm glad that all the experiences that I've had as an independent artist prior to the show, it did help me kind of see things from a different perspective. Like I wasn't going there being like, I've never been in the industry before. Like I have been for a very long time. And I've done the low level stuff, which some people will never have to do, or some people will just continue doing for the rest of their lives. But that experience is shaping my musical journey and my story. So I'm really grateful for that.
Yeah. And, talking about you shaping your musical journey, what has been the best experience for you so far?
I think there'd be two things. I think for me at the moment, the best part of being an artist and a musician is actually the fact that I get to teach in schools and speak in schools.
Yeah.
I think as a kid, you're always like, oh, wow, it's just so unattainable to do that. And it's like, no, it's not. So when I get to interact with the kids that I teach every week, and they get to see my journey alongside me as I'm experiencing it, and they see me as a real person, it really motivates them to continue doing what they're doing in whatever aspect of life it is, be it sport, academics, music, or just being a great person. And just seeing the change in my students recently and them being so much more inspired, not that they weren't before, but they just like re-inspired and they're trying super hard, is like, it's so nice. Like it's so fruitful, and I just love that. And I think the second thing is just like playing my own music with my band, who have become like my really close friends, and the times that we get to spend off stage and just like hanging out after rehearsal and just talking about life and making jokes. And that's definitely the high point of this.
No, even just talking about kids and other youths, it's so empowering when you know that you're helping them out and that they can use the skill sets that you give them for them to achieve more. Yeah. And I mean, even with you working and collaborating with your band, I'm sure that there are also downsides, but just in general, what do you think has been the worst experience for you after entering the musical industry?
Oh, I mean, like everything, there's a lot of downsides to things, but I think just realizing that people may not always treat you the same way that you treat them, and preconceived notions and like respect is not always reciprocated. So I've had many situations where, I come into a venue or going to a gig like super excited about it, and then someone kind of says something or treats me some sort of way, and I'm like, oh, like what was the point? Like I was super excited to be here, and now you've just like tainted this whole thing. It's just like the treatment. Maybe, I don't know, they're having a bad day or whatever, and that's cool. Like you can have grace for that, but sometimes it's coming from a deeper place. And so that can be like a bad side of it. But you try to just ignore that and keep going.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. And well, 2 of your songs have been nominated for the WA Music Song of the Year. What songs are those?
So they're both on my EP QM, which means question mark. So A Prayer and Friends. So A Prayer is in the hip hop and R&B category, and then Friends is in the Act Belong Commit category.
That is so cool. And like, what kind of impact do you think you want to make on others through your music?
So my music, it's just going through my journey of life. I think as a kid, I always expected life to be, super, not simple, but just structured. Be like, go to school, you go to uni, you find your partner, you get married, and you live your life. And that's just not the way it's been for me. Like, it's been so weird in a great way. And I just want to write music that encapsulates that, but also shares the message that there is something greater than what we see in front of us. And like, it's willing to find you if you want to find it. And myself, like I'm going through that journey again, and I don't think it ever stops. And finding that higher purpose and that higher power, and then living my life through that, that's what I want to create through my music. And just to tell people that you are valued, worthy, and loved. That's the most important thing.
It's like what you chase, you attract kind of thing, and you have such like high vibration and such a high aura.
Thank you.
Like I remember the first time I met you, I just noticed that straight away.
Thank you.
No, that's okay. Well, we're going to move on to the last part of our show, which is called Confess a Secret.
Yes.
But before we do that, I just want to thank Yes Style. So thank you to Yes Style for sponsoring this segment of the video. So they have very kindly gifted me these products. So this one is a Centella Green Fresh Cleansing Oil. So this literally gets everything off your face. And this has no fragrances, no perfumes, and it is suitable for all skin types. And here we have the Dr. Bear Liposome Glutathione, which is a supplement which combats aging and improves overall skin health. So if you guys want to buy these products or any of Yes Style's products, head to the description box below and you will find a code which will get you 5% off. So, okay, moving on to Confess a Secret. So this box holds questions and you have to pick one out and confess the truth.
Okay, thank you. Ooh, do I read it out?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever been betrayed or dragged down by someone? Yes. I'll give a very open-ended story.
Oh, okay.
So sometimes when you're in the arts or in a creative space, like when you're achieving great things, people around you don't really like it. And I've had situations where I was building a lot of momentum in my artistry and doing a lot of gigs and working at schools and writing and just finally kind of what I was feeling, being recognized for things. And people around me in my circle didn't really celebrate that.
Yeah.
And it made me feel some type of way. And so instead of keeping them around, I just let them go.
Yeah,
I said adios. Because, you know, you don't need that bad energy around you. But then also like you were saying, like if you have a good aura or you a joyous soul or spirit, they always come back. So it was tried to come back. And then you're like, actually, no, you disrespected me one too many times. And you're like, no, I think we need to part ways. And then anyway, this person decided to take me for a joyride and decided that I was a joke. And I was like, I don't know who you were talking about or who you were thinking of, but I'm not a joke.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just ended up blocking them.
Yeah, good, as you should, as you should.
I mean, I wish them all the best, but it's just not working for us anymore. So I hope they're doing well in life and that, you know, they find a higher power to believe in. Just leave me alone. But, you know, you're always going to have those situations where people drag you down. Just
100%.
hold strong. Stand your ground.
Yeah.
Get the respect you deserve.
Yeah. And I feel like maybe once you're, you know, achieving more, doing better in life, it's hard to also differentiate who are your friends and who are not.
Oh, people just come out of the woodworks. They like, you're doing great. I want to do great too. I'm like, okay, but wait, you were not here when I was working hard and slogging away at it. And luckily I didn't really have a lot of that when I went on the show. People were very authentic and I had kind of kept in contact with them prior. But yeah, I heard a lot of stories from other contestants being like, yeah, you know, this person's come back being like, oh, we're so proud of you. But they were bullying them in school. And I'm like, huh? How does that work? So yeah, human beings, strange.
I agree. It's like they won't be with you along the journey, but they want to be with you at the end, like the destination.
They want to be there when you're on the top, but they won't climb the mountain with you.
Exactly, 100%. Yeah, that's a beautiful way of putting it. Yeah, exactly that. Well, thank you so much for coming on to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolute honor having you. It's so exciting.
Thank you.
We'll wrap up the episode here.
Yes.
So thank you so much, and hopefully we'll see you around. And stream Rhea. Stream Rhea, and good luck to you for your Song of the Year nominations.
Thank you. Have a good rest of your day, people.
Thank you.
Be iconic.
Bye, guys. Cool. How did you find that?
That's cool.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it.